Welcome back to MTFC TV. My name is James Griffiths, and joining me at this time is Academy Head Development Coach Justin Tellus. Justin, you're off to China. How does that feel?
James, fantastic. Honoured, excited, and for the lads. And I just think it's a phenomenal achievement for this club. You know, we've had the academy for 3 years now, and we've obviously got a reputation not just locally and domestically, but also internationally. That has got us to obviously represent England in this massive tournament in Shanghai. So yeah, really excited, James, and really pleased for everyone who's involved.
Speaking with the other lads, I mentioned you've seen off to just get to the position of representing England. You've seen off the likes of FC Bournemouth, you've seen off the likes of Stoke City. What do you think made Matlock Town's application stand out above them?
I think initially, I mean, the whole process started where we were contacted by an agent who actually works for 2 Premier League clubs. She'd obviously spotted what we were doing. We went through talks about how we could put the application together, and obviously we put down the evidence of what we've been doing over the last 3 years. I mean, the interesting points I think for them were we've won 7 titles over the last 3 years. We've got to 5 major finals, also that's home and abroad. We've won 3 international tournaments over the last 3 years, which I think was a key pin. And also the movements of players to other clubs like Max Hunt to Derby County, I think that was another inspirational bid for us to pit these other teams. And I think they're looking for a new exciting team, a new name on the block, and we were very lucky to go through the invitational process and be selected. So we're really happy. So fantastic achievement for everyone involved. And that took a lot of people's hard work.
We spoke in the social and on the way down here about Matlock Town, and the name Matlock Town's definitely getting out there around the world. You've got a Singapore fan club, you've got people from Australia who are keeping tabs on what's happening about the club. What do you feel is Matlock Town's seemingly unique pull with people from other countries? I
think obviously the Matlock name and the position it's a historic town. It's a tourist destination in some sense, for a lot of tourists. There is a lot of Chinese tourists that come to Matlock Bath and things like that. But from a football perspective, I think it's seen to be a family club, a progressive club, with the new academy and development system and the first team. I think over the last 3 years we're building a name, not just locally but also domestically and internationally. And I just think people can relate to us. I think we're a club where you can contact us, you can talk to us, and I think that relationship and connectivity that we have is growing stronger and stronger year on year. Hence obviously the successful bid to represent England in Shanghai.
Speaking to Lee, whose interview won't be out until after this video, so you can catch that on Monday. Please do keep an eye out. He spoke about coming over from Malta to play football in England and what made him want to come to Matlock Town in particular. And we've seen lads from Australia and other countries come in. What do you think makes them want to come here to play the trade?
The question, I think the main priority is I think if you look at the 2 major leagues in Europe, you obviously the Spanish league and the Premier League is very well documented right across the world. Serie A as well in Italy, but the Premier League is a massive attraction, and I think that lads think that they've come into the UK environment and worked their way up the system. It's a great opportunity for them. The atmosphere is really good here, the ambience is good, the training facilities, we've got great coaches, and it's a great starting point for someone to move on, and someone like Max Hunt, who's gone on to receive plaudits and also play at a decent level for Derby County, also inspires these young talented footballers from around the world to want to come to Matlock Town.
We've seen as well today at the presentation, which hasn't been filmed, you've seen a lot of young lads here, but also a lot of parents, guardians who have come down and not only supporting the club but supporting their child or children. How vital is that support to you?
James, the parents is crucial, and we are different from other clubs in professional clubs, football league clubs, is where we do get the parents directly involved in the whole process. So be it during the season, we have regular reports, we keep good dialogue with them, we inform them about what the player's doing. Obviously they're under the age of 18, so it's important, especially dietary requirements as well. We tell the players you can eat this, you can't eat that. We've also got to tell the parents because they're actually preparing the food for them. So the input of the parents is crucial. And in regards to the China tournament, it's been amazing for the feedback from them and the support. I'd like to thank all the parents on behalf of Matlock Town for the support. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, visa applications and lots of things going on. We are looking for sponsorship as well, which parents have been directly involved in as well. So without the parents, it probably wouldn't happen. So I'd like to say on behalf of Matlock Town Academy Development and the club itself, a big thank you to all those hard-working parents within our system.
For a lot of people, and I've spoken in other videos when speaking to the groundsmen or speaking to people who volunteer through the summer, or speaking to board members, a lot of people think, one season ends, shuts off down here, nothing happens. But that couldn't be further from the case. There's always stuff going on. I mean, there's academy classes, and then, stuff under the radar, such as this China trip. For a lot of people, I think they'd say taking 50 lads to China, it is a big undertaking, but you seem to not be afraid to really push the boundaries of what people expect for academy football at this level.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've done, I think, James, over the last 3 years, and it's just with me, I think, as a club, we have pushed the boundaries. We've taken this club to, dizzy heights in regards to development football, and this is just another, pioneer moment for the club. I don't think it's ever going to come around again. It's sponsored by the Chinese Ministry of Education. Everything's paid for, and it's a one-off opportunity to represent this country. But in regards to pushing the boundaries and what happens off season, yeah, like you said, James, a lot of the hard work goes off season. Obviously, as you know, the first team, Dave Hall and Sean Howard, are doing really fantastic job in recruiting the players, and that also for our academy as well. We're on a recruitment base at the moment. We're looking for young talent. We've already got a basis of a squad for next season. We're also looking on the lookout for players that are being released by pro clubs or grassroots players to bring in, and we're working really hard on that. Some of those will actually be involved in the tournament this year. It's a mixture of under 2001 born players, which is different to our age group. I mean, we'll have some first year scholars and second year scholars amalgamating to make a team. So there's a lot of hard work, James, as you said, by yourself and a lot of people around the club ground, as well as off the pitch. That happens off season, which a lot of people don't realise.
To talk about Dave Hull briefly, he's taken the reins of the first team after a successful caretaker spell. I know both me and you were very into football. We have varying different ideas and discussions, but it must be a move for you that you're very happy to see, and it just adds that fluency between the academy, reserves and first team having that link.
That's spot on, James. I mean, the appointment, Dave Hall was interviewed by myself and Steve Heath originally. We got him to the club. We were limited budget, so it was very difficult to get him here. Once we got him here, he bought into the philosophy, he helped with the philosophy, he developed the philosophy, and he worked his way through and had some fantastic success right the way through the development system. And that carried on into the first team. When he went to first team, he continued that philosophy, and he got some really good results and deservedly got the job. And I'm really excited about the new season. Like you said, the link between the development system and the first team has never been stronger. And also the brand of football he plays is similar to the brand of football we try to play. So there's a link there, and it's exciting times for Matlock Town, really exciting times, and an appointment from within. I don't know if that's ever happened, So if it hasn't, it hasn't been in recent years. It's definitely the first time I've seen it. Since I've been here, so we're really happy that players go to the first team, but even more happily, when a coach goes through our system to the first team, that's even better.
I believe we have had appointed somebody. I think it was just before you got involved with the club, but we've seen it work at other levels. You look at Ashton United, who recently got promoted. Their whole status quo, if you will, is to appoint from within, and it's worked wonders for them. So it is something that can work. And talking to Dave on camera and off camera, he strikes me as someone with a unique drive, and he's a real people person. He knows how to talk to someone on a one-to-one basis. How vital do you think that will be as first team manager for him?
I mean, I've known Dave for 3 years and I've working closely with him. Obviously, he's been our reserve team head coach, so as development manager we have a lot of dialogue, and he's got a fantastic understanding for the game. He's an ex-pro like myself. He knows the ins and outs of it. He knows what's needed, and yeah, he's got a great mindset. I think his strong points are his man management, and also his tactical particularly acute on how he goes about games. And I think we've made a really, the board, I'd like to say thank you to the board here, because they've made a very wise decision and a very difficult decision, because, you know, I'm sure a lot of candidates came in, but he's the man for the job, and, you know, definitely he's proved that at the back end of the season. And, like I said before, it's just very exciting for the club, and I'm really thrilled for Dave and Sean Harrod.
I've spoke with Jordan Pierpont again off camera, and he was telling me how vital the advice and knowledge passed on to him by the likes of Phil Barnes and Adam Sollett has been. And we've seen in the past, you know, I believe Sean Harrod sort of took Billy Whitehead under his wing, and we've seen a lot of the more senior lads seem to be mentoring the younger lads, as well as when they've gone up to get involved with first team training, which I believe is something that happens quite often. How vital do you feel these sort of mentorships are?
They are crucial, James, and that is a very good assumption of what should be happening in the club, and maybe we've lacked in doing that. You know, when Max Hunt went into the first team, I've got to be honest, was he put under the wing? I don't really know, but I definitely, in the case of Harry Wood at the back end of the season, like you said, Billy and Jordan Pierpont have all penetrated the first team. Also Zach Brunn, Ashton Hall, Ethan Knowles, these are all players that are in and around it. Yeah, the players are fantastic. I mean, I think that's come from the coach as well, with regards to Dave. And I think there's some senior players in there that need to embrace these youngsters. And I think that's part of the DNA of the club that we need to try and embed. When I played pro for 16 years, and it was part and parcel of it. You know, when a young player comes on the pitch, you've got to look after him, you've got to teach him, you've got to guide him. And I think that's really happened over the last sort of 6 months. And long may it continue, because the more players we can get like Max Hunt, Harry Wood and so on, you know, the better it is. And I think it's fantastic for the supporters. You come to your local club and see a local player that's come through the system, there's nothing better. And that's not just at Matlock, that's anywhere across the country, across Europe.
We spoke with Lucas Brough in an interview that will now go out before this, because this is rather long, but I want to keep it going because it's interesting stuff, about how he's made his way up from the juniors to the academy, and he's made sporadic appearances to the reserves now. There seems to be a real sort of Matlock's laying its foundations, not just in the town. You're seeing a lot more local lads coming in. We're seeing as well, it's got that international reach to it. There's something about this football club that seems to be captivating people at the minute, and that as an academy coach, obviously we've spoken to Lee and we've had other people. It must be exciting for you to have lads emailing, ringing you up and saying, look, you know, I don't want to go to a championship club or a League One club. I want to come to Matlock because I know I'll be looked after and I'll be able to, you know, keep progressing as I'd like. I mean, you must be absolutely overjoyed at that.
Yeah, I mean, part of my job, obviously overlooking the whole thing, is to make sure that those links internationally are there and domestically are there, but also locally. Like you said, Lucas Brough is a product of that. He's a Wirksworth lad, he's a local lad. We've got some really good links now. We're trying to build those important links with the local clubs. You know, Wirksworth, Darleydale, you know, Roseley, Bakewell. You know, we've got players coming in even this season from all these different clubs, and we've really strengthened the relationship. Also Chesterfield side, you know, people like Brampton Rovers and local clubs like that, Wingworth. We're really working hard to try and create these links with those clubs, to bring in the grassroots players. Like you said, we do get a lot of players coming from league clubs that want to come to Matlock, but we also want to get the grassroots as well, players that are doing really well. We still got a policy about 50%. We normally take 50% that are coming from league clubs that have not achieved a scholarship, and about 50% are scouted in. We've got scouts right across there, and Lucas is a product that he played for Wirksworth, came to the juniors. We've picked him up within the juniors, and he's gone on to have a really successful season, team of the year, and playing the reserves. But I'd like to say the juniors as well. We are really working hard with the juniors. We're looking at some exciting projects for next year. We're looking to do a development centre where we invite local lads in from all around the region to come to Matlock on a weekly basis and train under professional coaches within our system, but also play with their local team as well. So yeah, like you said, it's really exciting times, and you know, it's fantastic for the club, for the community, and everybody involved.
We've seen a lot of lads, obviously, when they're at league clubs, they tend to get released, unfortunately, whether that be down to ability or travel or anything really. And you see a lot of lads dropping out of football in general and just thinking, that's me done. But I think with especially Max Hunt, he's dropped down to this level, he's played his football, he's earned himself a bigger move. What would you say to the lads that perhaps this season or season in the future have dropped out of professional level football, what would you say to them about getting involved at semi-pro level?
I actually think that Matlock Town have a unique selling point, and that unique selling point is that we are still a professional academy. We're full time, so a player dropping out of a system is actually dropping still into a full time system. First team is semi-pro, but our actual academy is professional in regards that it's full time. And players dropping in here are nurtured. I think we've got more time for them. We can nurture them more. I think that in regards to where they're coming from, they've been released for various reasons. We work on those, and football's a game of opinion, James. The game of opinions, and one day someone thinks you're the greatest player in the world, next day someone else thinks you're not, and I think that's what makes it exciting. And we've got players that have been released by pro clubs. We've got, for example, as we mentioned, Ethan Knowles, Ashton Hall, and various other players that have been around the block, and they've come here and thrived within our system, and hopefully kick on and make that level, like Max did as well. Max was released by Forest at a very young age, and now Forest probably kicking himself because there's at Derby isn't their competitors. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for any local player that wants to come down to a semi-professional club and progress through the system. And the grassroots, non-league to semi-professional to professional system, like Jamie Vardy's proved, is a very popular route now.
So to go back full circle and back to China, I know you're a very cultured man. You spend a lot of time abroad, particularly in South Asia, Japan, China. What in particular are you looking forward to? What do you think the lads should look forward to experiencing while they're out there?
Yeah, during my playing days, I was really lucky to play in Champions League games and European League games. It took me in many different countries. I was lucky to go and play in youth tournaments abroad as well. So I really understand the importance of it. I think the importance of it, and what excites me is our lads are going to be exposed to different climate, different culture, humidity, different playing styles that are going to come against the South American styles, and the Russians are going to be, the Eastern Europeans are going to be very tough. So we're going to have to adapt our game tactically. We're going to have to adapt our game in regards to how we set ourselves up. I don't think we can play as we do in the UK. Climate-wise, we'll not permit that, and also style-wise, we've got to make sure we're on the money, so we give ourselves the best chance to progress from the group. We understand it's a massive ask. There's professional sides there like Spartak Trnava. They've been playing Europa League, Champions League for years, and they're going to come well equipped to win that tournament. But yeah, that's what excites me. The whole experience that the youngsters are going to get from it, I think is invaluable, and it will hold them in good stead going forward. I mean, like you said, we've been saying in there, the finals in front of 20,000 people last year. If you play in front of 20,000, you come down to Causewell and play in front of 500, you should feel not as nervous as maybe a youngster would feel coming in. So it's really exciting for the club, and it's putting Matlock Town on the map, like you said. And I just think it's fantastic for the lads, and I really hope they embrace it and make us proud in China.
You spoke about in the presentation that some teams will obviously be mid-season, while others in the European area will be only in the throes of pre-season. How big do you think the gap will be when it comes to fitness in regards to that?
That's a key point, James. Real key point. I think if you look at the Asia Pacific side, teams from Australia, for example, that are coming from that region, maybe South America, they're actually mid-season. So we've got a bit of a problem there, where they're coming and they're at the races from the minute go. Where there's a French team, Belgium team, the European side, yeah, we're off-season. So I think that could have an impact on the game. But I think we've got to be aware of that. We've got to be tactical in regards to the way we set ourselves up. We've got to play to our strengths, and we've got to really, really monitor the teams before we actually go in. So, I know James Holmes is going to be there, and obviously Jamie's back home here, but we're going to need to study these teams, whoever we draw in the group, as a live draw on TV, and make sure that we go with the best possible chance to get out of the group. I think, and realistically, if we can get out of the group, it'll be a fantastic achievement for the club, and also non-league football.
I've asked this question to the lads, and I'll ask it to you. Is there any country in particular you would like to face, whether it be at the group stage or if you're lucky enough to get through to the semi-finals? Is there one country that stands out and say, yes, I really want to see us test them out against them?
I'd like to play, I'm particularly interested in the Mexican side and the Ivory Coast. I think they're going to bring a different brand of football that our lads have not got. I wouldn't like to play them in the early stages. I'd like to play them in maybe a semi or a final. We've got to a level, but yeah, definitely Ivory Coast. I mean, they're going to be big, strong and physical. We've watched them in World Cups and international football, and I'm very intrigued by the Mexican side. I've heard a lot of good things about them, and I think it'll make an exciting game for us. Who I want to avoid, I definitely want to avoid the Eastern Europeans. I mean, I think they'll be strong. Spartak Trnava from Slovakia. I mean, I played against them in the Champions League myself at pro level. They're, proper hardcore Eastern European side, and I'd like to avoid the Russians as well, to be honest with you. I mean, generally at that age group they tend to be very strong and physical, and but we'll take every challenge as it comes, and if you ask me who I want to play, probably the Mexican side or the Ivory Coast at a later stage in the tournament.
We've spoke a bit about China, and for those who don't know, the Chinese traditions and culture is a lot different to ours, so the likes of Facebook, Twitter aren't available in that country, and there's a lot of different cultural norms from what people eat to what people do in general. But listening to your presentation earlier in the social club, it appears the lads are going to be incredibly well looked after, whether it comes to nursing, volunteers. It seems to be a really well planned, thought out tournament. But this is, as you said in there, there's very rigorous restraints on what they can do while they're out there, because the Chinese government, and obviously Matlock Town in general, wants to make sure lads have a fun but safe, enjoyable trip. It must be hard work getting the safeguarding and everything involved before you've even got on a flight.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we've been invited by the Ministry of Education and other government sectors within China. Like you said, James, they've got to look after all the teams, not just us. There's 11 teams out there from different countries. We are going to be in a secure environment within a university campus, which is elite university campus where the games are played within the group. And like we were saying in there, they seem to be spot on. We've played in international tournaments before abroad. We were in Holland earlier on this year. But when you look at what these guys have set up, you can see that they're geared up to really produce a controlled environment. Yes, you're right, safeguarding and things like that, we have to work closely with. It's a very important part of it. James Holmes and myself are working on that, and also James's dad, Neil Holmes, safeguarding officer for the club, is helping us along with that as well. So yeah, we're working, but we're really confident about what they've got. The presentation, we had a live link with one of our representatives from China today. She joined us via Skype. And she was in the meeting as well. So she explained a bit about the controlled environment and how we can look after them. They'll eat what they're told to eat. They drink what they're told to drink, and they sleep when they're told to sleep. And basically they can't do anything during the corner. But there's some great cultural things in the evenings, as we spoke about to the players. It's not just about the football. They do exchange in the evening, cultural activities together. With the Chinese and whoever's in our group, and it's going to be a great experience, not just for the players but for the coach as well. James Holmes. I'm really happy for the lad. He's a local lad. He's from Matlock. He's grown with the academy. He's got his UEFA B, and he's got his opportunity. He's got opportunity to perform on an international stage. And he's a local lad as well. So it's not just the players. He's got a great record in international tournaments as well. He's won 2 out of 3 and got to a final in another. And he's got a chance to work his magic abroad and maybe take some of the luck that he's had the last few years onto an international stage.
You spoke in the presentation as well about some of the cultural events. I believe last year some of the teams that ended up going to Disneyland, so if that happens I expect to give back. But it must be such a thrill for lads at that age to have these experiences. I think I'd say myself, it's probably a once in a lifetime thing for them, and it's fantastic. Yourself and the other people involved, James, Neil, the whole academy set up, Jamie. It must be vital for you, and I know you want to say your thank yous, so I'm going to stop talking and give you the chance to thank who you want to thank now.
Yeah, I mean, the thank yous are enormous. I'd like to thank the executive committee. I mean, Keith Brown has just been phenomenal. It's not just for this tournament, but in general, he's really supported the academy. He's really working hard behind the scenes. Tom Wright and all the board, Alan Smith. Those that don't know, Alan Smith sits on the development committee. Myself, we look after the academy and the development system, and Alan has worked tirelessly for years within the development system and helped us to grow. And also all the board members, they're all supportive and they'll help us a lot in regards to playing staff, technical staff. We've got a fantastic team, James. With a team of staff. There's James, Jamie. There's Doobs, there's Mick, there's Carl. We've got the physio team of Elizabeth, and You know, I'm probably forgetting some people here. Obviously Dave Hall, just a few months ago, was still a part of us. So it's been absolutely fantastic, and I'd like to thank all the technical staff, all the board members, all the volunteers, yourself, media, Josh, Eads. Also, we've got our own development press officer, Andrew Haynes, who did the press release. You know, it's just a fantastic team, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I was interviewed. I think it come out. I've interviewed by a blogger, international football blogger, who done an interview, and he asked me very similar questions to yourself. You know, how does this club work? And I said to him, it's about the volunteers, it's about the dedicated people, you know, behind the scenes that actually make what happens on the pitch, you know, special. So I'd like to thank all those, and as I said, I'd like to thank the parents for all the support, and more importantly, I'd like to thank the players, you know, because the players really come with a good attitude. They're really trying hard, and they're inspirational to everybody. You know, they keep us motivated. So, you know, so many thanks, and as well as sponsors as well. You know, those that sponsor us. Obviously, we're on limited funding. We find it difficult to find sponsorship, and there's some fantastic people within the club and for outside the club that are helping these fantastic opportunities happen.
As we head towards the tail end of this interview, is there any potential sponsors or individuals watching who perhaps would like to help fund this trip to China? Is there any way they can get in contact with you, or any packages you're offering?
Yeah, everything's sponsored by the sponsors out in China, so the flights and everything within China is sponsored. I can't mention the figure, but it's a phenomenal figure that they're paying for us to get out there. But obviously this side of the fence, yeah, we are looking for sponsors. We've got a sort of 3-tier sponsor: gold, silver and bronze, which will be on our social media pages, and that's to get us new kits, and also transport down to London, to the airport and stuff like that, and to provide our lads with, you know, equipment and materials that they're going to need, and I think that's really important. You know, we are on limited funding, as we said, and we do work hard, and there are some great people sponsoring. So if anyone's interested, you know, please come and support, and support your local club and support our youngsters. We try and promote as much as possible, and those sponsors are fantastic and crucial to the development.
For anybody who's watching this and does want to sponsor, if you contact either the club's Facebook or Twitter page, I will put you in contact with Justin, and you can discuss terms with him. So do not worry, there's options there, there's different packages and different price ranges, but we really want to send the lads off and give the lads the best chance to not only experience something that it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but have a chance to really go on and progress, and even go as far as win this tournament. And that really gets me to my final question. Do you feel, realistically, I mean, I know you've got to think people are watching this, but do you think the lads have enough in them to go on and win the whole thing?
I'm always a big believer. I mean, and some of the technical staff, we had a meeting yesterday, and I'm sort of saying, these are our targets, and they always say, you know, maybe set the targets higher, but I know we're ranked about, I think we're ranked about 10th or 9th or 10th in the tournament. It's only 16 teams, so we're ranked, you know, below halfway to win it. But I actually believe in our lads. I believe in our lads. We've got some real talent in there. We've got some impactful players in there. I think we've got size about us, especially in the back three. We definitely play with 3-5-2. We'll probably be sitting a bit more, and I think there's if some players come to the table at the game, we could actually go far in a tournament. I'd love to say we're going to win it. That'd be really special. But I've achieved with the club, even to get out of the group, I think it'd be phenomenal. And with the World Cup going alongside it, it'd be an exciting time. So the prediction is we'll get out of the group and hopefully place within the top 4. That's what my heart says. My mind says. So my mind says that. My heart says, you know, we want to win it. You know, if we were to win it, it would just be absolutely phenomenal for the club, for the country, and for non-league football.
Right, we're going to finish up because my head's slowly getting burnt in this beautiful Derbyshire weather. But from MTFC TV and all the social media team, we wish you all the best. And as I've said, if you want to sponsor Justin or the team, you can get in contact with us on Facebook, or you can get in contact with us on Twitter. You can email the club at clubshop@matlocktownfc.co.uk. You can email me if you want me to pass it on at james.griffiths@matlocktownfc.co.uk. And all that's left for me to say is I hope you've enjoyed these more long-form interviews. We're hoping to do more in the future, possibly with Dave Hall, getting to know a bit more about how the club works and the people around it. I want to thank Justin for joining me today. And My name is James Griffiths, and this is me signing off. Thank you very much.